ಮುಂಜಾನೆಯ ಶುಭಾಶಯಗಳು. ವೇದಿಕೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಸೀನರಾಗಿರುವ ನನ್ನ ಸಹ ಇಲಾಖೆಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಕೊಟ್ರಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಸರ್ ಅವರೇ ಮತ್ತು ಚಿರಯುವಕರಾಗಿರುವ ಶ್ರೀ ವೆಂಕಟರಾಮನ್ ಸರ್ ಅವರೇ ಹಾಗೂ ಗಿರೀಶ್ ಅವರೇ, ರಾಘವೇಂದ್ರ ಅವರೇ, ವಿಶ್ವನಾಥ್ ಅವರೇ, ಸಂತೋಷ್ ಕಲಬುರ್ಗಿ ಅವರೇ, ಗೋಮತಿ ಶಂಕರ್ ಅವರೇ ಮತ್ತು ವೇದಿಕೆ ಮುಂಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಸೀನರಾಗಿರುವ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸದಸ್ಯರೇ, ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಮಿತ್ರರು. GST ಡೇ ಸೆಲೆಬ್ರೇಷನ್ಗೆ ನನಗೆ ಶ್ರೀ ವಿಶ್ವನಾಥ್ ಭಟ್ ಅವರು ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಬಹಳ ಸಂತೋಷ ಆಯಿತು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಕಳೆದ 2 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ನಾನು ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯುನಲ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ನನಗೆ ಸರ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರಬಲ್. ಸರ್, ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರಬಲ್. ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ಮೈ ಹೆಡ್ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಅಡಿಷನಲ್ ಕಮಿಷನರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಅಟ್ ಎನಿ ಟೈಮ್. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನಾನು ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯುನಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ GST ಜೊತೆ ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇನ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಟಚ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಡೀಲಿಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ legacy cases, pre-GST, our VAT tax, central sales tax, entry tax, and luxury tax, all those acts. So ನಾನು ಬಹಳ ಸಂತೋಷದಿಂದ ಹೋಗ್ತೇನೆ. ಇಂದಿನ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಒಂದು ವಿಶೇಷತೆ ತಮಗೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ, ವೇದಿಕೆ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಅತಿಥಿಗಳಾಗಿ ಬಂದಿರುವ ಶ್ರೀ ಕೊಟ್ರಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಸರ್ ಅವರು ಮತ್ತು ನಾನು ಇಬ್ಬರು ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದವರು. ನಾನು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, ಅವ್ರ ಹೆಸರು ಕೇಳಿ ನನಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದಾಯ್ತು. ಸರ್, ತಾವು ಎಲ್ಲಿಯವರು ಅಂದಾಗ ನಾನು ಹರಪನಹಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಅಂಡ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಬೀದರ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್. ಯಾವಾಗ ರಾಜರು ಬಂದ್ರು ಅವಾಗಿನಿಂದನೇ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಹಾಭಾರತದ ಶಾಂತಿ ಪರ್ವದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ತೆರಿಗೆಯನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಸಂಗ್ರಹ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಭೀಷ್ಮರು ಯುಧಿಷ್ಠರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಜೇನು ಹುಳುಗಳು ಹೂವಿನಿಂದ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಕರಂದ ತಗೊಳ್ತವೆ, ಆ ರೀತಿ ತೆರಿಗೆಯನ್ನ ಸಂಗ್ರಹಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಭೀಷ್ಮರು ಶಾಂತಿ ಪರ್ವದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಸುಮಾರು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಆದರೆ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಸರ್ ವೆಟರ್ನರಿ ಗ್ರಾಜುಯೇಟ್, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಎ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಗ್ರಾಜುಯೇಟ್, ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಗ್ರಾಜುಯೇಟ್. ಐ ಡಿಡ್ ಮೈ MSc Agri in crop physiology. I was dealing with xylem, phloem and all that, and I came to Central Excise and Custom as inspector. Then I joined this department as probationary assistant commissioner. So ತೆರಿಗೆ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು, we have commercial tax officer, assistant commissioner, deputy commissioner here, and in center same inspector there, they have superintendent, the assistant commissioner, all that. But what I have observed in Kannada Shasanagalu, first reference of a tax officer comes in Solapur, near a Shasana near Solapur, where it says Ananduru Munnuru Sunka Vergade Goidarasa Padmarasa. So first time we come to term Sunka Vergade. That is the term used for a tax officer. And if now we have so many schedules. Exempted schedule for goods, 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%, and we have which is not scheduled. We had a same under VAT, even under KST Act. But even one of the Kalyani Chalukya Shasanas, because I am very much interested in Kalyani Chalukya architecture, which is not known to many of Kannadigas. In fact, whenever we talk about Sala Bhanjike, Shila Balike, we always remember Beluru and Halebeedu. But let me tell you, before 50 years of Beluru Halebeedu, the Sala Bhanjikeru, Shila Balikeru, they were built in Bidar, Gulbarga, Raichur, Ballari, that place, above Tungabhadra, by Kalyani Chalukyas. So in one of the Shasana of 1135, there they give first schedule. ಅಡಿಕೆ ಹೇರಿಂಗೆ 50, ಜವಳಿಗೆ 20, ಹಸರಕ್ಕೆ 5, even they tax ಬಳ್ಳೊಳ್ಳಿ and ಶುಂಠಿ also, which are exempted now. So this is the history of our taxation, and fortunately I have seen central excise duty right from chapter 79 procedure, which was introduced. Then MODVAT, VP Singh sir introduced MODVAT when he was finance minister. I joined as an inspector. Then I was given there was a big industry in Belgaum, Indal. So their MODVAT verification. Then the service tax, first time it was introduced in 1994, but then Finance Minister Manmohan Singh Ji, he was a finance minister in PV Narasimha Rao cabinet. He introduced service tax with 3 commodities. And I was working in headquarters technical section. I was collecting all the statistics of 19 districts. Then we had only 2 commissioners under central excise, one for Belgaum, one was Bangalore. So in the first year, our service tax collection at 5% on only 3 services, our collection was more than sufficient to meet the establishment expenditure of the Central Excise Collector Commission. So that was the potentiality of the services, which has been harnessed in GST. Then we introduced VAT. I came to state government. We introduced VAT, input tax, output tax concept. Then we came to GST. And when GST was introduced, I was joint commissioner at Kalburgi. In fact, I was joint commissioner administration, but I was transferred to enforcement. Enforcement wing is our, you might have heard, our raids, inspections, road vigilance, all we conduct under enforcement. So I was enforcement, but my commissioner said, no, you will be responsible for administering or the making awareness of GST programs in Kalburgi division. So I made it a point to conduct tax GST awareness program in each and every taluka of 4 districts of Kalburgi division: Bidar, Kalburgi, Yadgir, and Raichur. There were a lot of problems. You might be, I don't know whether you remember or you have forgotten. 3B was not at all there. GST R1 was there. R2, they are there. Based on R1 and R2, GST R3 has to generate automatically. But it came July. In fact, in February, we went to Infosys campus at Chennai also. I was a joint commissioner. We went from our head office only. 6, 7 joint commissioners we went. We didn't send not just junior officers. There was no preparation at all. Even registration model wasn't ready. So when GST was introduced, GST 3 was not ready, R3 was not ready. So 3B was introduced as an ad hoc measure. But it has become a permanent thing now. So the very first query I received was, in 3B, where we had to declare this RCM turnover. And my central excise friends, even now also I interact with them. They were telling, no, we had this RCM concept under service tax. I said, RCM concept is not a new to state governments. If you remember, we had Section 6 under Karnataka Sales Tax Act 1957. And our 3.2 of KVAT Act, it's nothing but RCM only. So whether a person like a commission agent whose trade of agriculture goods is exempted, he takes as GTA service, whether he can pay tax from the bargain purchase which is taxable. Patraswamy sir was telling why it has to be paid in cash only. See, Section 49 defines about payment of tax, but it nowhere says how it has to be paid. Then we were searching. Rule 85, there it says RCM payment has to be made from cash ledger. And then we are not getting any clarification from GSTN or other. So what I made was, I made WhatsApp groups of chartered accountants, one group, practitioners, one group, tax advocates, one group. Most of the time, I was getting solution from our own members. Even petrol bunk owners came. Sir, we are not only dealing an exempted commodity, petrol and diesel, they're out of GST. Even now, they are out of GST. But we give our tankers on hire to oil companies. And they are making TDS. They are telling we will make TDS. I said, as far as my knowledge, it will not amount to GTA because GTA is not defined, but the explanation says one who issues the consignment goods. It won't come. But if they are making TDS, okay, it will come to you. But you declare under 3B as an exempted term because under GST R1 there might be a box because I had not seen that at the time R1 because liability will be on the service receiver. So I said you declared it as exempted because tomorrow our people may tell you have not declared this. Mr. Girish was telling our notices and all. See, as such, payments are not taxable. The transactions associated with payment will be taxable. I told them the same. See, you declare it. Otherwise, you will have problem. So that was the phase we came across during GST introduction. And you might have read, few of you, I hope. Last year there was a news clipping. In Gujarat, One car was moving from a tall highway. It was making 15 to 20 trips. Same car. It was going from this side, it was coming. It was again going. What was the speciality of that was every time there was no fixed fast tag on the glass. It was not affixed on the glass tag. Today morning I read that now NHA is taking action against them. They are not affixing it. But what that car was doing, every time it is moving that side, it was using different fast tags. Why? Because those fast tags were pertaining to trucks. They wanted to show that those trucks are moving from that. Because what we are doing, see, road vigilance we do. Not only our department, commercial tax department, we all other states they do road vigilance. We check lorries on the road. Even sir, we had a hot discussion with Upendra Gupta sir. He said, no, you cannot levy penalty on goods which are under IGST. We said, sir, sorry to say, but Supreme Court has held that any truck might be in transit. For example, say I was in Gulbarga, there is a small national highway, about 70-kilometer stretch. Mumbai Hyderabad highway passes through Bidar district. I said we have every right to intercept that vehicle, and whenever I found a discrepancy, then I will say that but for my inspection, these goods would have been dumped in Karnataka and tax would have been evaded. And Supreme Court has upheld it. So, before this also, there were in transit. See, trade will never change. We change our taxation. Trade will never change. We have purchase commission receipts in Yadgir and Gulbarga, Raichur. We had purchase commission receipts for groundnut, for cotton. Even cotton, see, beginning it was under 9.4 RCM. Any goods purchased above 5,000 was liable for tax under 9.4, if you remember. And then one notification came up to 5,000 purchase value, it is not taxable. Then 1310, that notification was changed. Cotton was out of RCM. But again, it was introduced from, I remember, from 14/11/2017, it was brought under 9.3 of the GST. We face all these challenges. As a tax authorities and especially state authorities, we are under tremendous pressure to collect the taxes for government's welfare measures. Nowadays, this photo shooting has become very famous. Pre-wedding shoots. And we find advertisements on Facebook, Instagram, and all. See, one fellow is very famous in Bangalore. He charges about 5 lakhs for per pre-wedding shoot. He gave his phone number, everything. And our officer contacted him for my photo shoot. I want to hire you. Then when we inspected his premises, we could get suppressed turnover of 3 crores, more than 3 crores. He was not a registered. He was. So we have to find out new ways. Serial number 74 of our exempted services, it deals with health services. Any health service, it is exempted. If I go to a doctor, I will pay him consultation fee. That is exempted. A nursing home brings a specialist and pays him. That is exempted. We go to a scanning center, we go to a blood lab, it is exempted. It is exempted. They all cover under 74. But what happens is, whenever doctors refer to scanning center, labs, they pay money to the doctors. Some percentage of money they pay to doctors. I have worked after 2005. I left Bangalore in 2005. I went to be there and I was in Kalburgi division for 17 years. I worked there as DC. Sir, I regularly interact with my central assessments even now also. Under service tax, this was there. I was discussing with them. See, health service is exempted, but commission paid is not a health service. So we collected information from Kalburgi division, few doctors. The amount was not more. What we get, separation of goods, iron and steel. We call iron and steel as gold. For commercial tax department, iron and steel, because whenever we see, even now also, whenever I'm highway, if I see a truck, I think tell my inspector to whistle, because we used to stop all the iron and steel, because most evasion prone commodities iron and steel. Other than that, we have like areca, copra, pepper, they are all evasion prone commodities. So I collected that information and we issued notices to the doctors. He said, you are liable for registration. They said, no, it is only 2 lakh, 3 lakh. They came, delegation came. I said, what you are collecting fees as for diagnosis, that is a turnover, that is exempted turnover. And for the registration, our section 22, even exempted turnover is also considered. Then I said, you bring your income tax. So they were owning commercial complexes. So commercial rent is taxable. Now it has been brought under 9(3). Commercial rent is taxable. See what happened if one of the case, in one of the balance sheet, one doctor was having agriculture land. Agriculture produce is exempted. Leasing of agriculture land for agriculture purpose is exempted. But what he has done is, he has given it was on that near national highway. He has given it on hire to a Kalyana Mandapa for parking the vehicle. See, leasing of agriculture land for other than agriculture purpose, it is liable for GST. He said, on this transaction, you are liable. So this is how we have to deal with them. So you might have heard long back, few of us, other than students, we had this fodder scheme of Bihar, where it was very famous in 90s. It was shown in the documents that fodder was supplied on auto rickshaws and scooters. Those registration, RTO registration numbers were put. We were locking. They were the matter of joke. See, in 2018, after introduction of e-way bill, see, e-way bill is a contribution from Karnataka. We had delivery notes. All states were having delivery notes. So Mr. Pradeep Singh Kharola, who was commissioner, our commissioner in 2010, he said we will have e-way bill, e-delivery. So then we came with e-Sugama. So when GST was introduced, this preparation of e-way bill was given to Commercial Tax Department, Karnataka and NIC. Even now, the entire e-way bill transactions are managed at our 7th floor of Vanijya Tarika Karyalaya, Bangalore. So one of my CTO who was on road, I told you, we say iron and steel as gold. He intervened one vehicle which was coming from Jalna to Kalburgi. See, normally what happens is they prepare invoice for 10 tons, they make e-way bill for 10 tons, and the commodity transport will be transported will be 15 tons. So that difference of weight, we reject that transaction, they are there. So he said, sir, I have some doubt. I was in the office. And we were not having all these apps and all. We were not there. It was in 2018. He inquired with the driver, when your vehicle has gone to Jalna. Jalna is famous for re-rolling mills. And we have another near Hyderabad also. So Jalna is very famous for re-rolling mills, iron and steel. He said, sir, 3-4 days back I have taken my scrap from here. Now I am bringing steel. So we have an option to verify under e-way bill portal at backend. If we put a vehicle number, in fact, it's not that good in e-way bill, but we had very clear in our e-Sugama system. So my officer found that he has doubt. So I checked for that particular vehicle. Previous night, that for that vehicle, it has shown it has moved from Ballari to Bangalore. But this fellow driver, he is telling that he has gone to Jalna 3 days back and he is coming from there now. we started investigating because that dealer, the dealer was known for evasion. I had passed an order against him denying input tax under VAT. So it went up to High Court, and High Court upheld our order denying that input, claiming input tax from bogus dealers. So we searched e-way bills. At that time, there was no integration of FASTag and e-way bill. So I took permission from our commissioner and I sent my officers to the Maharashtra near Jalna and all the highway toll. We collected information how many vehicles have traveled to that side, and from that we could gather the information which are in our e-way bill. So on this today, this vehicle has actually moved to Jalna, but in e-way bill it has been shown that vehicle has moved from Gulbarga to Hubli or Bangalore to Mangalore. So we could raise a demand of 2 crore on that deal. And now it is integrated. It has become very easy to identify. See, Areka, sir was telling Satyanarayana Katha, if you don't have Kalasa, you can have Supari, you can use it as Navagraha and all, yes. But Areka is one of the most evasion prone commodity. We reduced that rate of tax from 5 to 2%, but still it is there. Because it is not with the Areka. The final product, value of that final products makes them to evade those taxes. So normally what they do, Areka is loaded in Karnataka only, our central, our Chennagiri or Shumagga, Malnad area. But documents are created that it is transported from Kerala to Kanpur, Coimbatore to Kanpur. It is in transit in Karnataka. So normally we intercept the commodities, we take custody of that vehicle, we send our officers to that other state with the help of other departments. We find out that there is no consigner and no consignee, and we levy penalty. In one case, we intercepted goods on a national highway near Umarga in Bidar district. That e-way bill number, it appears to be, it was not carrying the proper invoice copy. So my officer called me, sir, this is the thing. Then I checked that PAN number. PAN number is the basis for GST. So I checked that PAN number. It was showing multiple registration. One was in Chennai, another was in Bangalore. So Bangalore registration, I can get the information. I got phone number. And one strange thing was, I checked his freebies. 98% of his payment was from cash ledgers. See, whenever we analyze fraud cases, if the payment is from cash ledger, 90% of our doubt will get out. Because why that fellow will do fraud when he's making from cash? So 98% of his payment was from cash ledger. So I called that person, whether you have any office in Chennai. He said, sir, we have a head office at Chennai. I said, you tell somebody to contact me because we have intercepted a vehicle showing consigner as your head office at Chennai, and we are about to levy penalty of 20 lakh on that. Then that person called me. I said, this is the invoice number. It appears to be bogus for us. It is not an original invoice. He said, sir, it is not our invoice. It is not our invoice. We have thrown out our accountant. He has done this mischief. He has given this information and they are transporting based on that invoice. You please levy penalty. I said, you give me a confirmation. See, why I am referring this case is normally we have to send our officers to other state to get confirmation. But in this case, dealer himself was giving us confirmation for levy of penalty. So these are the new ways we have to identify, we have to detect for gathering revenue. So whenever you are auditing any dealer, or now we have to say supplier. We have to say supplier. So please see if cash is received, because we have not defined services under GST. Anything which is not goods is a service. So it is on the dealer or the supplier to explain that this liability is not liable for GST. Sir was referring one famous newspaper case, one newspaper issue when we were discussing. So that newspaper, of course, it was your department case, sir. That newspaper, famous newspaper, it was sold to other group. So that was a normal business transaction for some amount, but there was one additional agreement with that newspaper owner that for next 5 years you should not bring any new newspaper, and that amount, yes, it is liable for tax. Because if you are withstanding something, you are listening here, yes, it is not liable for tax. If you are paid, then we have to see it through GST angle only. So we have a lot of challenges. We need your cooperation because we introduced GST successfully, not because of our department or CGST department. It was the cooperation from all the stakeholders and mainly their representatives, like cost accountants, chartered accountants, tax practitioners, or advocates. There are many, even accountants who work at small level, they have also helped us. I am not defined, Mr. Girish said tax seven. I am not defending our officers act because even now tribunal also we come across high hand as our officers. See, we had Central Sales Tax Act, a beautiful piece of legislation. In fact, when I was transferred to tribunal, I told my commissioner, Madam, I am very thankful because all these legacy acts will come to an end because we when I joined there were 600 pendencies. Now it has come to 250. So we may have to wind up. I love CST. You can think it is my old friend. In 2011, when we went to government of Karnataka sent us to Duke University, North Carolina, for exposure of various taxation systems of the world. One fellow who came from European Union, he gave us about the taxation pattern in European Union country. See, it is exact replica of our CST Act. European Union came to in existence very late. Might be in 90s. Deliberation started in 80s, 90s. But our CST Act was enacted in 1956. A well thought of piece of legislation. Less amendments. Even today, I feel very happy whenever we interpret Section 3 and Section 5, which are very similar. Section 5, we are saying sale in the course of import or export. And here we are selling whether this sale becomes an interest rate sale or in the course of interest rate sale. So there, what happens? C form has to be issued for claiming concessional right. One fellow was dealing with rice. Was exempted in Karnataka, so we don't ask for C form. One big consumer goods selling company, it has sold with other taxable commodity. It has sold rice also. It has sold taxable commodities to other state dealer. It has sold rice also. That fellow gave one C form for one invoice. So invoice was containing exempted rice also. So he has issued C form. What our officer did? See, you have given a C form, so you have to pay 2% tax. That came up to tribunal. Such things happen, but you have a forum to represent. Other than appellate forum, we have administrative wing. In fact, I remember about 3 years back, because regularly FKCCA conducts interactive sessions with all the stakeholders, all their district chamber of commerces from this stage. There were issues like our works contract payments. Government declares us GSTR, our TDS returns, they file in time. But the works contractor receives payment only in the next month. So what we do, we take TDS figures of this month and we issue notice to the dealer that you have received payment. As per our TDS information, you have received payment in March, but you have not declared the turnover in March. They raised this issue. I said, you go to the officer and explain and go to the joint commission. If they are not doing, we'll definitely help. So we are always in support of the trade. In fact, when second lockdown was announced, we received calls from FKCCA because it was somewhere in April 2021 lockdown was announced. Vehicles were on the road, e-way bills expired. What they have to do? The place where goods have to be delivered, they were closed. Our officers caught hold of the vehicle. We instructed our officers, don't levy any penalty. Give them time to extend the e-way bill. We are there to help the trade because it is not our department or CGST department which is collecting the tax. It is the tax supplier who is collecting the tax, and you people are helping him, and in turn you are helping the government store. So I thank the Bangalore chapter of Cost Accountants and SIRC and all of you for giving me an opportunity to talk about GST, because I am in tribunal now dealing with old cases. So I got myself afresh, updated. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.